Hi, my name is Bradley Connor, home inspector with Kefficient.
I'm Mark Keffer, owner of Kefficient.
Today we're going to be answering some of your most common crawl space encapsulation questions. What kind of warranties do you all offer at Kefficient?
So on crawl spaces, we typically offer a 25-year warranty on the liner and the encapsulation. The dehumidifier, we typically use April Air products. That comes with a 5-year warranty from the manufacturer. As long as we do the maintenance on it year after year, that warranty extends beyond the manufacturer's warranty period.
Yeah, I've had some questions about the mold treatment. Can I just get away with fogging the mold underneath the house without scrubbing it?
So fogging has a purpose, right? But if you've got mold in your crawl space, you do not want to just fog the crawl space. A lot of companies will go in and they'll just spray a product on the wood and they'll say it kills the mold. It may kill the mold that's on the surface. It's probably not going to get all of it. And the mold can come back quickly, usually within 48 to 72 hours. If the humidity is in the right range, that mold can start growing again. What the standard of care says from the IICRC is that the mold must be removed. So what you want to do is you want to remove that mold from your crawl space, your house, your attic, what have you. You don't want to do just a biocidal treatment.
Customers ask, why do I have to remove my insulation to do a mold treatment underneath my home?
That's a really good question. So as humidity rises, insulation begins to sag in your crawl space. Plus you have gaps in between where the insulation meets the joists and the subfloor. You get mold behind it. On the paper backing, we frequently find mold growing on the subfloor when we remove the insulation. So in order to do a thorough mold treatment, that material needs to be removed and disposed of, the insulation, so that we can expose all the wood surfaces in the crawl space and ensure that we do a proper job when treating for mold in the crawl space.
Why do I need a permit for my crawl space project for my home?
Yeah, so that's dictated by the building code and the locality in which you live, really. And most localities now are saying that for a crawl space encapsulation, you have to have a permit. So it actually protects the homeowner. We pull the permit. We obviously do our quality checks. Kale will go out, meet with the customer, do a thorough walkthrough of the project to make sure everything was taken care of. Make sure the customer doesn't have any concerns or questions. But also, you get another set of eyes on the project. When the county goes out, they're going to inspect it to make sure that we did the job according to the building code. So it's really important to get a permit. There's a lot of companies that don't pull permits for that. I understand it's kind of a gray area, but the localities are telling us it's required. So we're following the regulations for the areas that we work in.
What separates you all's 16 mil liner you use versus the competition in their 20 mil liner in the crawl space?
So the 20 mil reinforced liner is not 100% reinforced. It is not as strong as the 16 mil woven. We know that from independent testing that the 16 mil woven is twice as strong as their 20 mil reinforced liner. We also have a 20 mil version of that woven liner that's even stronger than the 16 mil, but we find that the 16 mil is sufficient. It doesn't delaminate. There's no risk of a cat urine smell from the liner delaminating, the polyester cords getting wet and giving off an odor. There's just no risk from it. So we prefer the 16 mil. We didn't just take the manufacturer's word from them about the strength of the liner. We tested it ourselves. We much prefer the woven liner to a reinforced liner.
Hey Mark, is there any way I can encapsulate my crawl space without putting a dehumidifier in?
That's a good question. So code does allow you to install a supply and return from your HVAC unit and not have a dehumidifier installed. It will pass code. You can pull a permit. There's nothing wrong with that. However, we find that the HVAC systems will not reduce the humidity enough in the crawl space to prevent mold or fungal regrowth. So we definitely recommend that you put in an appropriately sized dehumidifier for your crawl space.
How do I know what crawl space dehumidifier size I need?
That's a good question. So the 2018 IRC says that you want 70 pints of dehumidification per 1,000 square foot per day. So we basically just do a basic math equation based on your square footage, and we've got a little chart we follow, and it'll tell you what size dehumidifier is appropriate for your crawl space.
How will I know that my dehumidifier underneath my home is working?
Yeah, great question. So after we encapsulate your crawl space, our project manager, Kale or Duke or Jason, one of those guys is going to come out and meet with you, going to go through the crawl space with you. We're going to leave you a remote hygrometer, which will allow you to monitor the humidity in your crawl space from inside the home. And that way, if you do notice a problem, you can give us a call. We can come out and check to make sure everything is working like it should.
Why don't you put R19 insulation underneath the subfloor during an encapsulation?
Yeah, so basically with an encapsulation, we are insulating towards the exterior of the home, much like your living space is insulated towards the exterior, right? So we insulate the walls and the bandboard pockets to keep that cold or warm or humid air from entering the space. And by doing that, it holds in the heat during the winter, and in the summer it's going to hold the coolant in the crawl space as well. Generally, most customers will tell us that they see a savings on their electric bill. You know, a lot of that varies by the age of the construction, the size of the crawl space, whether or not their ducting is in the crawl space or not. So there's a lot of variables there, but most people do tell us that they will save money. But since we insulate the walls, the insulation between the joists is no longer necessary. And it's also much better because a lot of people know that things like to nest in the fiberglass insulation. Leaving the wood exposed allows the dehumidifier to do its job to make sure that the humidity levels and the wood moisture content in the crawl space are in a safe range, so you don't have to worry about mold or fungal growth in the crawl space once we're done.
Hey Mark, if the customer has any other questions or concerns about their crawl space, how would they be able to reach out to us?
So the easiest way is to give us a call at 804-318-5002. They can reach out to us through our website at Kefficient.com. We're on Instagram and Facebook. We'd be happy to come out and meet you and do a free inspection. If you do have, or customers do have concerns about their crawl space, we'd love to meet them. We'd love to check out their crawl space and give them an honest assessment of what, if anything, would be needed to fix it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
That's a good intro.
Hold on one second. How do